What actually happens after an offer is accepted? Once an offer is accepted, it means that the purchaser and the vendor, so the buyer and the seller, have agreed on a price. One thing to note at this stage is that it's not legally binding, which means either the buyer or the vendor can change their mind at any time up until the exchange of contracts. The estate agent will confirm all the details with both the buyer and seller, i.e. the buyer's position, are they using a mortgage, and if they are using a mortgage, having the agreement in principle, or if they're cash, proof of cash coming in. They will get both the vendor and the purchaser's solicitor's details or conveyancer and add them to their system, being ready to send out a sales memorandum before the property can go sold subject to contract. This basically means the property has been agreed, sold subject to contract, but as previously mentioned, it's not legally binding yet. When the memorandum of sale is sent out, which basically has all the information on for the buyer, the buyer's solicitor, the vendor, and the vendor's solicitors, the vendor's solicitors will prepare what they call a draft contract, which is basic information about the property, and it goes to the purchaser's solicitor or conveyancer for them to start the process. Instructing your solicitor early cuts down the time of waiting towards the end of the sale, with the national average still being 16 weeks and 4 days as of the start of March 2026. The next stage is the purchaser arranging the searches with their conveyancer, where they'll look into the property in a bit more detail. Any local planning in the area, is there any water or drainage problems, or environmental search. At the same time, the purchaser may, outside of the mortgage survey if they're having one, have what they call an independent survey, which could be a level 2 survey where they go into the property and check some information over, such as structure and condition. At this stage, if you're having a mortgage, you'd apply for your mortgage. For you to get to this stage already, you'd have already produced your estate agent an agreement in principle or decision in principle to say the money is available to you. This is where you're now tying that to the property you're purchasing. They will do a valuation. One thing to note is it's not a survey, it's a valuation to make sure that they're happy with the money that you're paying for the property and their securities in the property. Once they've done this and then checked over your paperwork maybe one more time, and your identification, it will move to what they call a formal mortgage offer, where they're in agreement that the purchase price, the property you're buying, and the condition. The purchaser has the right to ask the vendor any inquiries, as well as the mortgage lender and the purchaser's conveyancer, to satisfy them that no one's at risk with buying the property. So that's what they call inquiries. They can go on throughout the process from start to finish, from the day one to right onto the day of exchanging contracts. Inquiries can be raised and they have to be answered by either the purchaser or the seller who they relate to. Once both the vendors and the purchaser's conveyancers are in agreement and everything's been answered, it's the exciting part that comes next, where you look towards an exchange of contracts, where traditionally you'll exchange on 10% of your purchase. So if you're the buyer, you'll give your conveyancer 10% of the value of the property you're purchasing to move it to exchange of contracts, where it becomes legally binding. The next stage is the completion. That's the day you actually get the keys and you become the official owner of the property. Whether you're buying or selling or want to understand the process a little more, please feel free to contact me, Jamie at Jamsons, on 01529 30 30 30, or feel free to email me, jamie@jamsons.co.uk.